I think when it comes to language and just kind of communication in general, one of the most important concepts that we want to strive to become better at is our storytelling because story is an integral part of people. Being human is how the brain oftentimes digests information and things like that is by incorporating story. And so today I want to take a look at probably the stories that were among the first that we heard as kids, which were fairy tales. And I want to just kind of give you some things that I want you to think about that can help make your own communication more expressive, more evocative, and more meaningful to your listeners. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show, which is Wake Up American. We are here Monday through Friday, typically around the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. New York, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of practice for today because that's what it takes if you are serious about pronunciation, showing up for yourself in a consistent way. And to guide you in this process, there is me. Hello, my name is Geoff. It rhymes with breath. That's one of the four keys for a natural sound in American English, include placement, pitch, breath. Trying to weaken your consonant sounds, strengthen your vowel sounds. Got a couple people hanging out with us. We got David in the house. What's up, David? And we also have Emmanuel, and we also have you. So thanks for being here. Um, for people who are in our group coaching, it's going to be a little bit familiar because this is kind of what we were talking about yesterday. Just kind of using the same concepts and things. So yesterday in our group coaching program, we were looking at a fairy tale. This is Jack and the Beanstalk, for those who are familiar. Okay, hello also to Liz. Thanks to Liz for stopping by. Great to see you. Hope to see you on future streams too. And some things that I just want to kind of highlight for us. I think it's important when we're telling stories, we want to be thinking about, and not just telling stories, when we're talking to someone, we want to be thinking about what's the emotion we're trying to leave people with. What do I want them to feel? Why am I telling them something and how am I telling it to them? So that way they feel what I want them to feel. Okay. So if I, for instance, look at this story here and I want to tell this story, there's a couple key moments that kind of stand out because I'm not going to have the same emotion for the entire story. I need to mix it up. Okay. So for instance, when I look at these first two lines, just kind of read these first two lines to yourself if you're watching with me. And one of the things that you're going to see here, or like if you're understanding the story, things are going to jump out. Well, we see, like, for instance, like we see, like, poor widow. These are both words that, in my mind, are evoking pity. Okay, I'm trying to make my listener understand that this person is not in a good position. It's not a good situation, okay, or not a desirable one. She's poor. She's a widow. She lost her husband. Okay, a widow is a woman who lost her husband. Okay, and not only that, but she also has a kid. Okay, so we can imagine, a lot of fairy tales are based in old, kind of like social settings and things like that. Okay, just trying to get my camera. Hey, I'm over here. And so we can imagine that, hey, if she's a widow, she may have lost, potentially for that time period, the person who was really providing for the family, right? Um, Potentially. One day, Jack's mother told him to sell their only cow. So they had to sell their only, and that word only is key. Okay, so there's all these little things that are indicating to me as a listener that, oh, this is not a good situation. So when I read this, I want to try to convey that to my listener. Okay, but there's other things too, right? So, for instance, that next line, Jack went to the market. So we can imagine he had to go to the market and he's probably bringing this cow with him. So imagine the market, let's imagine like the market's really far from where he lives, right? So that means that he has to work, he has to drag this cow to the market, for miles and miles. They're traveling, okay? So there's a lot of labor and work involved with this, okay? And on the way, he's not even in the town yet. But on the way, what happens? He meets a man. He met a man who wanted to buy his cow. For those of you who are familiar with just kind of storytelling. There's the concept in stories that there's only like 3 or 4 different types of stories in the world. One of those stories is that a stranger comes to town, and this is what we have here. We have a man that's an unknown, so suspicious. Jack doesn't know who this guy is. Okay, so we have this sense of kind of like suspicion here, potentially. Also, like Jack asked, potentially, what are you going to give me in return for the cow? So there's a lot of unknowns, right? Jack doesn't even know what he's going to get for his cow. He doesn't even have a price set. Okay, he doesn't even know what he's going to get in exchange for his cow. He's giving up all power, right? Okay. So again, when he's going to the market, he might be tired. When he's describing the poor widow and her son Jack, it's a normal cow. We're thinking pity, sad emotions. And now Meta Man wanted to buy his cow. Jack asked, will you give me? There's a lot of unknowns. Okay. And then lastly, the man answered, I will give you 5 magic beans. So this is very unusual, right? So there's all kinds of things I could do with this man, but I don't know who this man is. And so this man is being kind of 5 magic beans. I'm not even going to tell you why these beans are magic or what they do. So this man is being very mysterious in things. Jack, not even knowing how much his cow is going to get, is probably feeling suspicious. He's also probably maybe feeling a little bit nervous. He may not have ever had to do this before. Okay, so before I even read this story, these are some things I'm kind of thinking about. We're starting off trying to convey pity. Then after that, I might try to convey the fact that as Jack goes to the market, he's really tired. Then after that, we get the encounter with the man, and now I'm switching over to being nervous and maybe a little suspicious. And then we had the man himself. We don't know the man's intentions. A lot of times in stories, a character like this might sound a little bit like evil or mysterious and things like that. So I'm going to read this story 2 ways. The first time, maybe something more similar to how you would read the story yourself, where we're not really thinking about the emotion or anything like that. And then the second time reading it, and my goal would be to try to convey these different emotions and see which one you enjoy more. Okay, so we'll read it twice. First way, normal way. Once upon a time, there lived a poor widow and her son Jack. One day, Jack's mother told him to sell their only cow. Jack went to the market, and on the way, he met a man who wanted to buy his cow. Jack asked, what will you give me in return for my cow? The man answered, I will give you 5 magic beans. Okay. You can let me know in the chat or in the comments if that is how you would have read the story, more or less. Let's read it again, this time thinking a little bit more about the emotional context. Okay. So again, starting off with pity, then trying to convey exhaustion, then trying to convey some nervousness, then trying to sound a little bit mysterious. Okay. Once upon a time, there lived a poor widow and her son Jack. One day, Jack's mother told him to sell their only cow. Jack went to the market, and on the way there, he met a man who wanted to buy his cow. Jack asked, what will you give me in return for my cow? The man answered, I will give you 5 magic beans. Let me know which one you enjoy more, guys. But these are the things we want to be thinking about. Having an emotion in mind. And this can be in any conversation. Having an emotion in mind that you want your listener to feel. Then ask yourself, how can I use my voice to give that emotion to them? We'll be back tomorrow with more Wake Up American. Thanks for reading a little fairy tale with me. I hope you found that helpful. And thanks for hanging out. Look, there's a million pronunciation resources out there. So the fact you spend a little bit of your day here with me is greatly appreciated. Hope you guys have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon. We'll catch you guys later.